Welcome to Paradwys Diaries, where this week's focus is all about wood. In November 2017, we moved to the beautiful Ynys Môn, the island of Anglesey in northwest Wales, to begin the adventure of developing a 12-acre smallholding and planting a church, all while learning to be parents for the first time. Moving to a tiny rural village called Paradwys, which is Welsh for paradise, our pioneering journey has seen us venture way out of our comfort zone, trying new things, succeeding at some and facing challenges in others. This is our way to share our journey, encourage you with yours, and of course share plenty of inspiring scenery and cute shots of animals and our young family. We are the Radbourne family, and this is Paradwys Diaries. Every summer here at Paradwys, one of the big jobs for us to do is to fill up this log shed and a load more to be able to feed the log-fired boiler that we have that heats both houses, both Johnny Karen's and our house, for heating and hot water. We are fortunate enough to have inherited this log burner when we bought the houses. It is a super efficient machine that provides our heating and hot water to both houses, connected by a large underground pipe. But it means we get through a lot of wood each year, especially in winter. And that needs to be dry and ready, which is quite an undertaking. So one benefit is that it means that we are carbon neutral, so we don't use gas or oil for our heating and hot water, which is fantastic, but also we receive a renewable heat incentive, which means that we are cost neutral as well. Well, all of that except for the time going into all of the splitting and stacking. So where do we get the wood? Well, we buy in some of it, getting deliveries every other year or so, that we have to cut and split and stack. The last delivery we are making our way through now.
Right, Caleb,
but look at the size of some of these logs. It is really taking some work.
Alright, let's go.
But about half of our wood each year comes out of our own coppice woodland. So we have an older wood and a new wood covering about 5 acres in total. Each winter we cut a section and leave it to dry for between 12 to 24 months before use. It is amazing how quickly it grows back, but we will cover this in more detail another time. So to dry the wood, we fill the shed behind me, but this isn't enough. We need to effectively stack it outside as well. And for those of you that have seen this book in the past, Norwegian Wood, Chopping, Stacking and Drying Wood in the Scandinavian Way, one of the best reads you can get, then you will know that Norwegian round stacks are an incredibly efficient way to dry wood outside and still protect it from the rain. So, what we're going to do for the rest of this episode is show you our attempt at building a Norwegian round stack. Did this a couple of years ago and it worked really well. Quite fancy doing it again this year. So here we are. Here is a little story of how you can build your own Norwegian round stack, but also just me having a bit of fun in a creative way. All right. The exciting thing is about to happen. This stack of logs I'm going to try and turn into a Norwegian round stack. So basically it is a round stack of wood that you pile up so that it creates its own protection using the bark on the outside, but then lets the air in all around it. Then you put all the knotty twisty bits in the middle of the round so that they can stack nicely. Did it a couple of years ago, worked really well, so we're going to try it again here. So we're going to put one here, we might even put one there eventually, but this is just going to show you how to do it basically. So do watch along, hope you enjoy it. Caleb's going to help me, and it should be a lot of fun.
It's a good question, Caleb. So what we're trying to do is put a base layer out to see if we can stop the water from rising up from the damp ground. Now the counter to this is that it could potentially hold the water on the sheet and not evaporate off as quickly, but that is something we're going to try this year. Didn't do this last time, but going to see if this works better for those base layers of wood.
Okay. So starting off, sketching out where we're going to put the stack, where it's going to go. That's it. Okay, so I'm fairly pleased with the way this is coming together. Yeah, so nice and round, should hold weight evenly. There's a bit of an issue with an angle on the slope here, so I'm going to have to build this side up first. Nice and big, plenty of wood will go on here. It's pretty good. Right, next layer. So as simple as building up the walls, making sure that you stay within so they won't bulge out and then collapse, because as the wood dries it will shrink. So often they do collapse and that's fine, but obviously the best thing is to try and make sure it doesn't collapse so it stays in a nice round all the way until you need to use it. One great tip to use is to get some small thinner bits or even some twigs like this to use to bridge some gaps, just to build up the outside, just to raise it a little bit, because otherwise you might end up with it sloping outwards and then all the weight will go the wrong way. So you want to try and build it inwards as much as you can, and build it right up. So using these little sticks like these, having lots of little twigs around, just to put over the sides. As soon as it starts to sink, then that's great. So over here, nice little bridge there, and then it just begins to build the side up. Another tip as you're building is the pieces with the bark on the outside. Like we've got some whopping great big pieces that we've split here, so there's lots of middle bits. But the barky bits, try as much as you can to place the bark upwards, because that will act as a bit of a rain shelter, especially on these outsides. So the rain will run off that bark and won't soak into the middle of the wood, so it will dry nice and quickly. So this kind of is like a giant game of Tetris that goes on. You want to try and make sure that it fits well. You might need to use a few in different places. But just take your time, make sure it builds up well, make sure the integrity of the structure's there, especially in this early stage, and it will treat you well. Right, any particularly gnarly bits like this one, that kind of, yeah, you're going to really struggle to be able to layer that. Like sometimes it might work well, so this could potentially work well here, just to act as a little lift instead of using one of those little branches. But then some others, like this one, big bit sticking out, it's going to be really difficult to put that down anywhere. That, chuck on the pile out there, and that will eventually go in the middle here. So this is where all the gnarly bits can go, because they won't be stacked, they'll just be chucked in loose. So you'll find a home for those without a problem. Oh. Right, that's what we've got split so far done. As you can see, it's going to take quite a lot of wood. So more splitting to be done. Pretty pleased with how it started so far. There's a couple of areas I need to just strengthen up and be a bit more careful with what I put down. But it doesn't take very long. Got a right sweat on. It's about 25, 26 degrees today. End of May, which madness. But yeah, much better doing it in this than in the rain. So more splitting it is. There's plenty of wood to be getting on with at the minute. John did a good old chainsawing session the other day. There's some absolute whoppers in here though. How we're going to lift these up onto the splitter. Look at that one. Maybe give it a bit of scale. Look at the size of that. It's a struggle just to lift into the trailer, never mind wiggle it around to get it split. But we'll give it a go. Okay, so here we go. So this, the sides are up there. It's not quite as neat as maybe I'd like on the outside, but there we go. So then inside we've got a few bits and pieces in there, look. So what we'll do now is we'll begin to fill the middle in, and then we'll see how brave we feel about how high we're going to go. Got to bear in mind I've got a 2.5-year-old son who probably will want to try and climb and go near this, so probably won't go too high, but it's coming on nicely now. So we've got the middle filled up nicely now. Come and have a look. So we've got this starting to fill now. Some more is going to have to go in, especially around the back, but we're going to start, as you can see I've started here, to build in the top, so the roof now. So bark bits up so that it creates a waterproof layer, and then we just layer that up in a little bit, and then the aim is to get that into a pyramid shape going into the middle so the rain runs off. So yeah, this is how we do it. There we are, done. First one anyway. We reckon we're going to need 2 or 3 plus half of the shed with the hay in the other half to get us through winter, which is quite a lot to get through, so a lot of work ahead of us. But really pleased with that result. I hope that you have enjoyed following along with the build, seeing how it is created, a few tips along the way as well if you are looking to build your own. So I hope you've enjoyed that one. This one's taken a bit more effort to get the video out this week, but I hope that you have enjoyed it, and do like and share and subscribe to the channel because it really helps spread the word about Paradwys Diaries. So see you next time. Welcome to Paradwys Diaries, where this week I've got wood for the boiler. Come on, get your heads out the gutter, guys.